You don't have to scream. I just genuinely want to know. So everybody on three, or whenever I ask you how you're doing, just honestly respond back to me, okay? How are you guys doing? Okay, I heard a lot of goods. I don't know what else was mixed in there. Whatever you're feeling tonight, it is okay. It is completely natural, and I'm sure you're not alone in that feeling. Hey, raise your hand if you do not have a note card. Love it. Hey, one more time, raise your hand if you do not have a note card. Oh my gosh, we got 100%. 100%. Hey, who brought their Bible tonight? Throw it up like you just caught a fish. Oh my gosh, that's so good. That's so good. That's so good. That's so good. You guys are going to have to start bringing your Bibles more. What do y'all think? Yes? Okay, awesome. Hey, who has their phone in their hand or a phone in their lap? Go ahead. I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to set it on the ground. We'll just cut out as many distractions as possible tonight just to help us focus. My two words for this summer was let's have as much fun as possible, but whenever we're in this room right here, let's have as much focus as possible. And so I hope you guys enjoyed worship. I know that I did, singing with you guys over there. Even if you didn't know some of the songs, that's okay. You can still read. You can read and worship. Did you know that? You can read words. You don't have to just sing for it to be worship. You can read it. But I'm on a tangent right now, so we'll just get into our talk tonight. Y'all ready to go? Awesome. You guys ready to go?
Yes, we're ready.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Michael. I feel like Mr. Michael is speaking for everyone tonight. Man, do we need to get up and do some jumping jacks or something? Okay. Well, hey, we'll just get into it. You guys are dialed in, I feel like, so I won't ruin the moment. So let's just go. Okay, I want you guys to raise your hand if you enjoy eating food. If you enjoy eating food, raise your hand. Okay, I love that. I love that so much. We can connect. We can connect a little bit later. But hey, for me, I enjoy eating food so much that after I finish one meal, I start thinking about the next meal. Anyone else relate with me on that, right? If I finish breakfast, I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna have for lunch? I eat lunch, what am I gonna have for dinner, right? It's just a never-ending cycle. But I love two types of meals. I love some meals in between, but these two types of meals are like my absolute favorite meals. I love really, really cheap, fast food. But then I also love just the super expensive, fancy, not super, super expensive because I'm not that rich or rich at all, but fancy restaurants as well. So I'll give you an example. I love Taco Bell. That is my fast food. If I want something just to quickly satisfy me, it's cheap, right? You can go in, right? You can just order your tacos, order your quesadilla, whatever. I love some Taco Bell because of that. But also I love a good fancy restaurant because I get to dress up. Most of the time it's because me and Lindsay are going on a date, and so I get to see her all nice and dressed up, and it's gonna have great conversation, all that. Man, I love just a good fancy restaurant. I always leave saying, man, that was the best meal that I've ever had, right? Maybe you can relate to that. But I love those two types of places. Now, you may prefer one over the other, but both places, both restaurants on either end of the spectrum, they both promise you the exact same thing. They're gonna promise you that you will leave satisfied. Satisfaction. That is the one thing that they're gonna promise you. But only one of those restaurants is gonna leave you full and alive. Both promise the idea of satisfaction, but one only comes through on that promise. Now, did you know that on average, daily, a human being will make over 35,000 decisions? Decisions, not that is 35,000 decisions on a daily basis. And I'm afraid that the question that we ask ourselves most whenever we're making a decision is the question of, will this satisfy me? whatever is burning deep inside of us, will that person, will fill in the blank, satisfy me? But I have an alternative question. What if instead of that question, we started to ask ourselves the question, will this benefit my life? Meaning, does this add value? Does whatever is in front of me, whatever I'm having to make a decision about, does this add value to my life or not? And what if God had a better way for us to live? What if you didn't have to play the odds or gamble on your life? What if you didn't have to guess on the decision if you were making, whether it was right or wrong? What if? Now, a while ago, me and Lindsay were inside Target. Does anybody love Target? Okay, good. We love Target. We love going in there, just hanging out, strolling around, looking around, all that good stuff. Well, Lindsay is the type of shopper that she's like, hey, you got to keep up with me. I'm not keeping up with you. Like, she's on a mission. She's going to go look, right? She's going after it, right? She's not worried about me at all. She is on a mission. And so one day we were in there, she's on her mission, and I'm pushing the cart around. She's looking everywhere. And I look down at my phone for what feels like 5 seconds. And I look up, and she's not there. She's not there. And so I turn the corner, walk around, right? Turn the corner, she's not there. I look around another corner, she's not there either. Now I am panicking inside, right? I'm panicking, trying to act cool, trying to act normal, trying to not to look like the creeper just looking down like every single aisle, right? You know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to find Lindsay, and then all of a sudden, I don't know where she wound up being, but I find Lindsay, my wife, and a peace that passes all understanding that can only be from the good Lord Almighty comes over me, and I go up to Lindsay. Has anybody felt that before? Anybody felt that before? Anybody lost someone in a store? Okay, we're relating just a little bit. Hey, here's the main idea tonight. Where you look is where you walk. Where you look is where you will walk. Now, whenever I was in Target, whenever I was trying to find Lindsay, I did not ask myself, will my life benefit from looking at my phone for 5 seconds? Now, I know that's a silly question, but the decision that I did make of looking at my phone for 5 seconds, it left me in a panic. And if I would have just been a good, loving husband, I would have kept my eyes on Lindsay. I would have followed her around like a good husband is supposed to, right? I would have not panicked at all. I would have had the peace. I would have been okay. But if we were honest with ourselves, this question of, will this satisfy me? It doesn't just apply in those silly situations, right? Because where you look is probably where you are asking that question, will you satisfy me? And so, let me ask you that question. Where are you looking? Who are you looking to? Let me ask you this. Are you satisfied in the direction that you are walking? In this series, we've talked a lot about wisdom and choosing wisdom, choosing godly wisdom over everything. Tonight, it's not going to be any different, but here's what will be different, I hope. I hope you are different after tonight. Because if you choose to shift your attention in the direction of God, man, your life can be changed. And so in Proverbs chapter 9, I want to share with you what the benefits of wisdom are and what the suffering of foolishness, or as Proverbs 9 says it, folly. I know that's a word that we don't use a lot, but folly, as Proverbs 9 calls it. But before we start, I just want to offer you guys hope. I want to offer you hope. Because I know in a room this size, in a room this full, with this many students in here, I know that some of you came in here tonight not really knowing why you showed up. You don't know why. Maybe tonight at home with your parents, it isn't really going how you want it to go. Maybe you're even questioning God and his goodness. Maybe you have no desire to change your ways and you just think this whole Jesus thing is just silly. And here's what I want to tell you. Wherever you're at tonight, what we talk about, you can do it. You can do it. If you shift your focus and you allow God to shift things inside of your heart, you'll see a change. Because here's the thing, God has not given up on you. And he loves you too much to leave you as you are. And so, if you're hurting, run to him. Because he's going to be there waiting for you. And so here's what Proverbs chapter 9, verses 1 through 6 say. Wisdom has built her house, and she has carved its 7 columns. She has prepared a great banquet, mixed the wines, and set the table. She has sent her servants to invite everyone to come. She calls out from the heights overlooking the city. Come in with me, she urges the simple. To those who lack good judgment, she says, come, eat my food and drink the wine I have mixed. Leave your simple ways behind and begin to live. Learn to use good judgment. I mean, Lady Wisdom right here, as the writer of Proverbs, he sort of personifies wisdom, and we'll see in a minute, he personifies Lady Folly, as we'll call it. But wisdom here, she is wise, right? She prepares this food herself. She carefully chooses the food she serves. She's teaching. She's inviting people to this great feast. Man, doesn't Lady Wisdom sound like one of the best grandmas in the entire world, right? She reminds me of the grandma from Moana, right? She teaches, she invites, she cooks, she shares, right? She gives advice. Right? And hey, the same thing for us today. Wisdom wants you in community. Wisdom wants you to learn. Wisdom wants you to have benefits, spiritual benefits to your life. And I'll be honest with you guys, man, if this is what godly wisdom wants for me, then I want to give all my attention to it. Man, and I hope that you would want to give your attention to it. I would hope that you would want biblical community. I hope that you would want to learn and to benefit from it. But the question is, man, why do we choose often, maybe a little too often, to not choose wisdom? Why do we choose to look away? Why do we choose to shift our focus somewhere else? I think it's because we look at wisdom like a fancy restaurant. Because when you go, it takes a lot of work. You have to get ready. You have to wear your best outfit. You have to clean up yourself, you think. It's also pretty expensive. It's going to cost you something. And if we're honest, we don't like that because that's not comfortable. And honestly, it breaks my heart that we have we view a relationship with Jesus like that. We think that we have to clean ourselves up, to put on our best, to even present ourselves to him, and we sure don't want it to cost us something. And so we just don't show up, maybe when Jesus asks us to. But it's quite the opposite, because I think what God is saying to you tonight is what we find in verse 4 when it says, come with me, she urges the simple. That descriptive word simple, it means naive or inexperienced. Does anyone here feel inexperienced in how to follow Jesus? I've been there. I really don't know. Times in my life, I really didn't know what to do. Man, and I bet that feeling caused you to not want to follow Jesus, because it did for me. But despite your inexperience or your expertise, God still says, hey, come on in. Hey, come follow me. Proverbs 9, it's pretty cool because it contrasts the idea of Lady Wisdom and Lady Folly. And this is how Proverbs 9 describes Lady Folly. He says, the woman named Folly is brash, meaning she's loud. She is ignorant and doesn't know it. Does anybody know someone that's ignorant and they just don't know it? You don't have to raise your hand or say their name out loud. She sits at her doorway on the heights overlooking the city. She calls out to men going by who are minding their own business. Come in with me, she urges the simple. To those who lack judgment, she says, stolen water is refreshing. Food eaten in secret tastes the best. But little do they know that the dead are there. Her guests are in the depths of the grave. And do you guys see the contrast? Do y'all see that? Man, Lady Folly, right? She's loud, she's ignorant, she does not know it. She steals food and water. She finds whatever she can eat, whatever she can satisfy herself with. She leads people to death. Man, Lady Folly does not sound like a cool grandma. She sounds like the old lady in Snow White, right? Not fun, not cool, trying to poison everybody, right? Folly, or foolishness, it wants you in isolation. Folly wants you to take from others and ultimately to suffer. So why would we ever choose Lady Folly? Because Lady Folly is a lot like Taco Bell. It's cheap. It's easy to get. You can show up at midnight and they'll welcome you with open arms. It will satisfy you for a time. And if we were honest, we like the sound of that because it feels comfortable. And I feel like the need to double click on this idea that folly wants you in isolation, because I just feel like there is someone in here tonight that feels like they can do everything on their own. That they don't need community. That they don't even need Jesus. And that is folly. And that is the furthest thing from what God has created us to do. He created us to be a people who work together for the good of the kingdom of God. So what's the answer to this problem that we have? And if we're gonna leave here and start asking ourselves the question, will my life benefit from this? If we're gonna leave here and start asking ourselves that question, how do I even tell? How do you even tell the difference between God's wisdom and just your own thoughts? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Man, is that God saying that to me, or is that just me talking to me? I've asked myself that question. And how do we know? Jesus is so cool, guys. He's so cool because he went through the same things that you go through, just in a different way. I know Jesus didn't have a phone or TikTok or anything like that. But he went through the same stuff. And in Matthew 4, it describes Jesus. He goes through this temptation in the desert with Satan himself. And this is how Jesus handled that temptation from Satan himself. This is what he says. This is what it says. Matthew 4, verses 8 through 11. Next, Satan did this 3 times. He tempted Jesus 3 times. This is the last time. Next, the devil took him to the peak of a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. I will give it all to you, he said, if you will kneel down and worship me. Get out of here, Satan, Jesus told him. For the scriptures say, you must worship the Lord your God and serve him only. Then the devil went away, and angels came and took care of Jesus. Hey, can I tell you this? You cannot live a wise life on accident. I know this is a crazy idea, probably one that you've never heard before. But what if you opened this up and found out the truth about whatever you're going through? What if you asked God, what if you prayed and said, God, man, how do I handle this? And you found out the truth. Maybe because you're not happy with yourself, or because your relationships are not where you think they should be. It might be because you haven't asked God, how? How do I do this? Maybe your attention, maybe your focus isn't on him right now. What if you actually knew the truth? What if you knew what God says about what you are going through? Now, who or what is the loudest voice in your life right now? I want you to think about that, honestly. I want you to think about that. Maybe even write it down on that handout or in your phone. Who's the loudest voice in your life right now? Or what? Maybe a different way to ask the question is, what is influencing you the most? Because I know this to be true. Whatever you're watching is where you're walking. Who's the loudest voice? Just giving us space to think about that. What or who has your attention? I just want to encourage us with this passage from Hebrews 12. It's challenging us to run with endurance the race that is set before us. Looking to Jesus, putting our focus on Jesus, turning our attention to Jesus, who is the founder and the perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. You can run the race of life despite what is set before you because of what Jesus has done for you. And tonight, I just want to end on this idea of grace, because you will mess up. You will turn your attention away from Jesus. You are going to choose folly at some point in your life, but because Jesus is the author and the perfecter of our faith, then there is joy and there is grace in the person of Jesus. And I just want you to know this. I want you to know this, that Jesus is the wisdom of God. He's not just offering advice on how to live your life. He's not trying to control your life. He's offering himself to you. And your life doesn't have to be as it is now. Your life can change because Jesus wants your life to change.